What's up, all you samurai assassins? Fat Samurai Guy here, again with another episode of The Movie Dojo, where we discuss martial arts cinema and action films. Today I'm going to review Wild Card, starring Jason Statham. Worst British ever. Here's a quick plot synopsis. When a Las Vegas bodyguard with lethal skills and a gambling problem gets in trouble with the mob, he has one last play. And it's all or nothing. Now I'm going to give you the good, I'm going to give you the bad, I'm going to give you the badass. First up, the good. I believe since Transporter 1, directed by Corey Yuen, I've always been a fan of Jason Statham since then. And he's been in a lot of movies, there have been a lot of hits and a lot of misses. I would have to say here in America, in terms of mainstream success, the action hero genre has kind of died. I mean, it's not as big as you would say the 80s. Where we had our Bruce Willises, our Stallones, our Arnold Schwarzeneggers. It was huge, okay? I would have to say he's one of the last of the dying breed of the whole action hero genre. I mean, if you think about it here in America, maybe The Rock would be another one to name, but in terms of that, think really hard in terms of a big, mainstream, superstar success in the action genre by itself. There really isn't a lot here in America that's mainstream. And yeah, you could say that his acting range is up to this point, but doesn't get any better or get any worse. But let's be honest. When you want to watch a Jason Statham movie, you want to see him kick ass. And thankfully, you get to see that in Wild Card. Simon West, the director of Con Air and Expendables 2, directed this film, and it looks theatrical. The movie looks fantastic. And now for the bad. The plot is kind of a mess. It comes down to the usual show, don't tell synopsis. Well, watching this movie, I felt like I was watching a TV show, but I missed some episodes. So basically, the story is about a prostitute who's a friend of Jason Statham's character, Nick, gets invited to a party. She ends up getting beaten and raped at the party, and she wants revenge. Statham's character is kind of very hesitant at first because he knows that these guys are tied up with the mob, and he really doesn't want to mess with these guys. But then he gives in because he feels sorry for his friend and ends up tracking these dudes down. And all hell breaks loose. You don't really know anything about the character of Nick. He doesn't want to help the prostitute friend, but she calls him up on the phone and she's like, "Remember when you were down and out and you were at the bottom, I came and helped you." Maybe it would have been nice to see that. He tells her, "I've known you since you were a young teenager walking the streets." Maybe it would have been nice to see that. He meets up with this rich, preppy young man who's basically tired of being rich and preppy and wants to have some balls and courage to do things for himself for a change. So he ends up hiring Nick as a bodyguard to kind of take him around Vegas and kind of show him the ropes and kind of watch his back and stuff like that. But then later you find out that his real intention was to have Statham show him how to fight and survive and protect himself and have courage. And I was kind of like, this is a very weak character. This character I didn't really like that much in the movie. He was very pointless. And again, once everything is revealed, he tells Statham, "Well, I heard you've been in the Special Forces." Again, show, don't tell. And Statham's character relationship with Stanley Tucci's character. Obviously, Tucci's character is one of the bigwigs that run shit in Vegas. But how do they know each other? I mean, at this point, I would even take some flashbacks. I mean, show him in the Special Forces. Show him learning some of the, superhuman abilities that he ends up using later as a bodyguard in Vegas. Let's see this. How is this guy able to dodge bullets and knock people out throwing playing cards? What is he, Gambit? No backstory, nothing given. But then you could say, well, maybe they were going for the mysterious man with no name approach. Or if that were the case, why do we have these long, drawn-out, dramatic sequences of Statham being obsessed with gambling, being an alcoholic, being depressed, and pretty much hating himself and his career choice? Now for the badass. Thankfully, fight choreographer Corey Yuen is here to save the day, and the movie's not a complete total waste, and you're going to see some pretty kick-ass, brutal fight scenes in this film. Just Statham using his fists, feet, and silverware, and he totally destroys these guys. Yeah, the movie could have used a lot more fight sequences like this, but the two big ones that were there were very entertaining. So overall, this movie is not a waste of time, even though it's kind of a mess, plot-wise. But I highly recommend it for those who are big Jason Statham fans. If you don't care about the plot, and just want to see Statham kick ass, you'll be right at home. So I give Wild Card 3.4 out of 5 ninja stars. Alright, that's it for today's episode of The Movie Dojo. If you've seen Wild Card, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And tune in next week, where I review a movie that stars Jackie Chan, Adrian Brody, and John Cusack. And it's one of the highest grossing films in Hong Kong history, Dragonblade. We'll see if it's any good. See you next time.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.